Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Crazy Saturday. It's a Saturday morning. Thank you again to my friends at Chick-fil-A for coffee. I'm ready to go. Now, in the midst of the craziness that I don't want to downplay in any which way, I've gotten criticism on both sides saying I don't buy into this whole thing, the coronavirus nonsense. It is real. It's now clear that it is what we would call a deadly, serious, global pandemic. It's worth our attention. I really am highly incensed by the way the media has just blasted this into the heads of everybody. And I witnessed it yesterday here in my office. When I had person after person flood our place. You know, it's nice to have business, it really is. But when you see the craziness of them just buying anything that remotely could protect them. And yes, we had prepared ourselves with antivirals and corona kits and all kind of different things, and they're gone. And when I checked online with all my suppliers, you couldn't find a supplement that had zinc in it or vitamin C. It's all gone. Gobbled up by the select few that were the first in line to get it. And we heard our governor here in the state of Georgia say, please, when you go to the store, there's no necessity to buy every single loaf of bread that's out there. I know there's a panic. I know everybody wants to just hunker down. The same thing happened after 9/11. Fear. And we do know that this is and can be a problem, but those that are strong, those that have done the necessary things up to this point, this may be just the wake-up call that this country needs to finally say, let's get your act together. Let's eat correctly. You know, I did a YouTube video. They're all on our website. You can go back and listen to it. I've done 4 or 5 now on the treatments, the way to protect yourself. And on Thursday, I did a show on food, the necessary food that it takes to protect you. You got to go back and watch it. You really do. It's important. I do these shows each and every day, and I feel like sometimes I'm just talking to the wall. So this morning, as I was doing my quiet time and going through a few things, a friend sent me a little editorial piece written by C.S. Lewis. Have you ever read C.S. Lewis? Some of his pieces are absolutely spectacular, fabulous reading. Now, the piece I'm going to read to you was written in 1948. And it was when he saw that the United States was in a serious predicament. And everybody was panicking. And back then, it was the atomic bomb. We bought all the bread, we bought all the milk, and we hunkered down. And he wrote this piece, and I'm going to read it to you. And I am replacing the word atomic bomb with coronavirus, taking a little liberty with that. You can look up this C.S. Lewis quote anywhere. In one way, we think a great deal too much of the coronavirus. How can we live in a coronavirus age? I'm tempted to reply, why, as you would have lived in the 16th century when the plague visited London almost every year. Or as you would have lived in a Viking age when raiders from Scandinavia might land and cut your throat any night. Or indeed as you are already living in an age of cancer, an age of syphilis, an age of paralysis, an age of air raids, an age of railway accidents, an age of motor accidents. In other words, do not let us begin by exaggerating the novelty of our situation. Believe me, dear sir, madam, you and all who you love were already sentenced to death before the coronavirus came around. A quite high percentage of us were going to die in unpleasant ways. We had indeed one very great advantage over our ancestors, aesthetics. But we have that still. It is perfectly ridiculous to go about whimpering and drawing long faces because the scientists have added one more chance of a painful and premature death to a world already bristled with such chances. in which death itself was not a chance at all, but a certainty. This is the first point to be made, and the first action to be taken is to pull ourselves together. If we're going to be destroyed by the coronavirus, let that virus, when it comes to find us doing sensible and human things, praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting to our friends over a pint of beer or game of darts, not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about the virus. They may break our bodies because this microbe can do that, but they need not dominate our minds. That was C.S. Lewis in 1948. Good words. Settle down, calm down, pray a lot, and pay attention to just some of the basics. Let me just give you two very, very simple basics that have come out from the World Health Organization, from every one of the experts. You may have some upper respiratory thing going on and you're panicked about it. Do I have the coronavirus? Or my husband just got back from a trip to Miami and he was on a plane, and did he bring it into the house? I heard it said this week, if you can take a deep breath and hold your breath for 10 seconds without coughing, you don't have it. Because when that virus is present in the lungs, you can't do that. And hydrate. I expect everybody, well, of course, you can't buy any bottled water anywhere because everybody panicked and bought it all without any concern for anybody else, with no concern about anybody else. None. It was always me yesterday. Me and my family yesterday, with no concern about anybody else. I will have that last loaf of bread. I will have the last antiviral. At a time like this, we need to get our act together. Hydration is important. Even at this point, with your filtered water coming out of your spigot at home and to be sipping on it all day, they have found that if you keep your mouth and esophagus moist on a continuum, you reduce the risk factors dramatically. Because if it did get near you, you can wash it down into your stomach acid and have it destroyed. Take your vitamin C, take your vitamin D, practice the common sense things that you need to, and quit the panic. Turn off TV. I can't watch it. I told yesterday on this video that my wife put on the Kardashians, and what a god-awful show that was. But it was better than listening to the news scare you, or the politics scare you. I'm incensed by most of the Democrats that have made this a political hot potato. We need to come together, and it will come together. Much less cases yesterday. Worldwide, much less cases. It's coming to an end soon. Practice what you know you need to do. All right, let's talk a little bit about infertility. Then I'm going to read a little bit from Michael Josephson. Infertility, now estimated to affect 60% of married couples under the age of 30. Isn't that astounding? That they're going to have difficulty conceiving. You know, when you look at the beauty of our bodies and the beauty of a woman's body being capable of carrying a child for 9 months and giving birth. As a man, we just cannot know that feeling, that giving life. What got us there? What got us to a point where less than 1 in 2 have a simple way of conceiving? That a couple can sit back and say, here's what I'm going to do. We are going to attempt to have a baby right now. And they can. But 50% of the couples can't. And that's a big issue. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because I want this show to be out there. I want this YouTube video to be out there, that you can go back, access it, and share it with a friend, a relative, your daughter, your son, a newlywed couple, somebody who you know may be having troubles conceiving. Now, praise God, my daughter didn't have that kind of an issue, even though she had all kind of cyclical problems growing up. And about 3.5, 4 weeks ago, I was blessed to have a new grandson. I was blessed to be in Pittsburgh when he was born. It was truly an amazing time. So now I have 2 grandkids, a daughter, granddaughter, and a grandson. And I have 2 kids of my own. And it's a wonderful blessing. So we're going to get involved in just some simplistic, research-based pieces that if you are just married and you are planning on having children at some point, maybe not right now, I want you to listen to some of these basics, take some notes, maybe listen to it a second time, and understand some of the very big basics to keep your body capable of giving birth. Michael Josephson from Character Counts, we do this every Saturday morning for the last 23 years, said this week. Now, keeping in mind the craziness that happened yesterday, I believe, or the day before, in some store where people were fighting over toilet paper or water or something, and somebody actually broke a bottle and attempted to stab somebody. The craziness of me, and it's all about me. In 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was stabbed to death outside her apartment building in Queens, New York. She was attacked repeatedly over the course of an hour, and despite her screams, none of her 38 neighbors intervened or called for help. Some were afraid. Most didn't want to get involved. Some thought somebody else will do it. This incident has become a symbol of increased callousness, self-centeredness, and fearfulness of a society where brutes, bullies, and other bad guys act without worry of interference from onlookers. And we saw that happen. A long array of billion-dollar scandals rocked corporate America, for example. It is not so much the result of growing hordes of clever scoundrels as it is the product of passive complicity of innocent people who are willing to look the other way to protect their job, to protect their relationship with their boss, or protect their incentive compensation. The moral root of the issue is responsibility. As Edmund Burke said, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. I don't think we have the obligation to put ourselves at risk to right every single wrong we witness. But we should be willing to do so when the consequences are serious and we are accountable for creating an environment that is hostile, not accommodating to illegal and unethical conduct. The duty of responsibility requires both good sense and courage to help us avoid the extremes of doing nothing and trying to do everything. One thing's certain, though the world would be better if we could all do just a little more. Coffee. Story number 1. This is going to be tip number 1. Microbiome modulation. You're going to say, like, what? You mean your digestive tract? Oh, I know. Your nickname was the gut guy. That's all you ever talk about. And you mean you're going to tie in gut health to infertility? Yeah, I am. On Monday's show, we're going to do a piece on breast cancer survivors in the interruption of hormonal issues by PPIs, Prilosec, Nexium, Protonics. So if you know somebody that's a breast cancer survivor, make sure on Monday you have them listen. 2 Argentinian biotech entrepreneurs are using microbiome modulation with the aim to treat some of the most complicated cases of infertility. Gabriela Gutierrez and Leandro Barrero are co-founders of a company called Microgenesis, have created a new infertility diagnosis and treatment service based on the evidence of the most complicated cases of infertility are often related to gut-related immunological problems. Most complicated cases. So what are they doing? We do a test, lovingly called the gut zoomer, where you send a stool sample off to a lab and they do an analysis of your RNA and DNA. Then you can do the proper modulation to bring the gut health, the microbiome health, back to where it needs to be. We got to make sure there's not too much bad and enough good. So what this article is saying is gut health is a crucial first step. Extrapolate that out, Len. Make sure right now, if you're thinking of being pregnant, you pay very close attention to bowel function and bloating and gas. And if you can get off of those stomach acid blockers and quit eating Tums like they're coming out your ears, and take a quality probiotic like our Ultra Probiotic, you can enhance your ability to conceive. This article goes into the swabs they did and the stool analysis, and they said this: in a lot of cases, when we see problems in gut health, it tends to lead to the extra buildup of endometrial tissue because of the inflammation in the gut. New test coming to your doctor soon. We have it already. Story number 2. So the first thing, and I'll do a summary at the end, the first thing is called microbiome modulation. Number 2, folate. We're throwing this into MTHFR, methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase testing. It's a simple swab of the inside of your cheek. We send it off to a lab and we look at your DNA analysis of how you're processing folic acid in your body. Or in almost 90% of the cases of infertility, we're not capable of doing that. So this article says couples undergoing fertility treatments could benefit from genetic screening. That's what I just said. We do that here. And supplementation with 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate instead of folic acid. Do you just start taking it? What I would say right now, if you're planning on having a child, this is what I did with my daughter, is that there are certain prenatal vitamins, and I like the one from Designs for Health. Their prenatal has this 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate form in it. And what we did with my daughter, the label directions say 6 capsules a day, which is a lot. But it's 6 capsules a day once you are pregnant. So it's 3 capsules a day while you're trying to get pregnant. So you're taking a prenatal already. You're setting the stage for the health of mom, the health of that child as soon as conception occurs. So number 2, MTHFR testing and the correct forms of folate. Number 3, vitamin D. Again, we set these ranges where medicine has sort of a fear factor of vitamin D. I get very aggressive. I had a woman in here yesterday saying, how much vitamin D should I take to protect myself against the coronavirus? She says, my doctor said 200 IUs a day. And I said lovingly, I have a grandson who's not even a month old yet that's getting 1,000 IUs a day. A little 8-pound baby. What? Yeah, with the blessing of their pediatrician, because it's that important. So how much do you need? You have to do blood work. So we do a 25 OHD level simple blood work, very inexpensive to do. Need help with that, give us a call. We can send you to the lab and get your levels drawn. You should have that done prior to conception. Now, this is both husband and wife. Study underscores the positive effect of vitamin D on female fertility. Vitamin D status may play an important role in female fertility and reproduction, according to new research linking levels to regulation of ovarian hormones. The study published in the Journal of Nutrients underscores the hypothesis of the positive role of vitamin D in the fertility of women by suggesting it may be involved in the regulation of ovarian anti-Müllerian hormone levels. Anti-Müllerian hormone, MAH, is an ovarian regulator whose function is largely unknown to science. Research has shown that some women with sufficient vitamin D intake are more likely to get pregnant. Number 4, vitamin B1 deficiency linked to infertility and miscarriage. Number 4, vitamin, and again, I'm going back to that multiple vitamin by Designs for Health. I know there's a lot of them out there. This is, in my opinion, the best. Vitamin B1 deficiency could be a factor in infertility and miscarriage by contributing to a low-quality oocyte, a study from Japan has found. The study investigated the effects of mild and severe vitamin B1 deficiencies on oocyte maturation. That's an egg that's maturing. Poor quality oocytes with spindle and chromosome abnormalities are associated with miscarriage and infertility. This is number 5. High-fat diets contribute to that problem. Avoidance of trans fats. Increasing monounsaturated fats. So decrease in saturated fats, avoidance of trans fats, and increase of monounsaturated. That's simple. A little bit of vitamin B1. I'm going to throw this one in. Dad's vitamin D has an impact on childhood growth and obesity risk, so it's very important that we keep that part in mind. Number 6, body, mind, spirit. Distress, especially in the form of depression, can impair infertility or fertility. If a woman is depressed and cannot take care of herself, then she cannot take care of an infant. It makes sense for the body to shut down until the situation improves. Intervention can help, as seen in the 17 years of research involving mind, body, and cognition behavioral techniques in women with fertility problems. This is from Family Practice News, October 1st, 2003. That's why I love the fact that when I'm in Pittsburgh, I'm working with Alyssa Perrine and her whole group, where there can be great counseling done. You mean I need counseling? Listen to the news right now. If you're a young couple today, in the midst of this corona outbreak craziness, you mean to tell me it doesn't make you anxious? Number 7, in the man, antioxidants improve the chances of conceiving in male subfertility. Antioxidant supplements may benefit couples who have difficulty conceiving naturally, according to a new systematic review published January 18th in the Cochrane Library. Increasing antioxidants in husband makes the sperm work better. Reproductive success of men and women is influenced by the food they received early in life, according to new research from the University of Sheffield. The results were published online December 17th, 2010. The first study of its kind to show that early life food can have a serious influence on lifelong fertility. The research team, led by Dr. Ian Rickard from the Department of Plant Sciences, said a combination of church record data on birth in the 18th century Finland and agricultural data crops, they went into history and found that if early in life your food wasn't too good, let me say that right now, if your food choices are not that good, I travel all the time, I have no choice but to do fast food. You know doggone well, I don't have to do a whole show saying if you're going to McDonald's, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, any place, there are pseudo-healthy options available. Even in god-awful Burger King, you can get a plant-based hamburger. Eating trans fats increase infertility risk. Deep fried, I like my French fries and potato chips. You better stop it now. Milk consumption may impair fertility in women. This is number 8. stop, contrary to what most OB-GYNs are saying, stop dairy, period. Researchers from the United States and Finland now report that where per capita milk is the highest, women tend to experience the sharpest age-related fall-off in fertility. Lastly, obesity. Obesity can diminish the fertility rates for both men and women. That's sort of basic, right? Now, let me just tell you this much. We work with a lab called Diagnostics that does what they call a long panel, where we actually collect saliva samples 11 times during the course of a month. And during the course of that month, we map out your estrogen, your progesterone, your LH, your FSH, your DHEA, and your testosterone, so that we know hormonally what's going on in your system over the course of the month, and we can actually track your cycles to see, are your periods modulating correctly? Probably one of the most rewarding parts of what I do for a living is those times when I can work with a couple that are having difficulties. And I've done this many, many, many times over the last number of years. And we put together a simplistic plan. We do some checking. We do some proper modulation of their cycles. And they conceive. And I can still see the faces of those young ladies that come in with this great smile on their face saying, success. And I've had OB-GYNs that do fertility clinics, and they do great work. Don't get me wrong on that front. But so many times, we miss the mark. So, in the midst of this corona craziness, if you're watching this today, which is the 14th of March, by all means, you can give us a call, 678-228-8900. We can at least guide you on some very good tips to keep your family healthy. And starting this upcoming week, like most doctors' offices do, we're going to computer interaction with all my consults. We are going to tell them to basically stay home, hook up your computer, and let's just talk this way. It's much better. We still have the phone. You know, if you don't like the computer, then you don't want to look face to face. I understand that. But call and set up your time if we can be of any assistance. 678-228-8900. Our website is thenutritionshop.net. Make sure you tune in on Monday. As always, God bless you. We're here if you need us. Take care.